The third part of our little video lecture today is involving the different aspects of motivation, which are basically drive, discipline, and determination. Drive just basically means that you have the ability to get started. You have the ability from doing nothing to doing something that is part of your goal. Drive, you could look at as the, just the motivation to get up off the couch and do something. Typically, it's easier to do that with things that we're passionate about, and hopefully you've chosen a program in school that you have some passion and enthusiasm about. Discipline, it just talks about the commitment that you'll have. Things sometimes can be long. The pathway to getting a degree, the pathway to achieving any goal can be long, and discipline is just the ability to keep going no matter what the length of time is and whatnot. The last part, determination, just means that you'll be determined no matter what obstacles come in your way. I mean, when you start looking at a long-term goal, long-range goal, you will undoubtedly, your life will have hiccups in it, your personal life, your work life, trying to balance everything that you need to balance just as an individual. I mean, things will become messed up sooner or later along the line. The determination to fight through that and to still keep your eye on the ball, so to speak, is what determination is all about. The last part of this video is really just about a couple different types of items, and they involve really being honest and whatnot as you pursue your academic goals. Cheating, things like plagiarism, things like just not having the best behavior. Those are things that are going to make you the person that you want to be. So anyway, I mean, cheating, plagiarism, those are things that aren't good, let's say. Cheating, everybody knows what that is. Plagiarism, different people, sometimes have ideas about plagiarism that aren't always right. Here's what they don't understand. It's the deliberate or unintentional use of somebody else's work without giving them credit. It's basically taking somebody else's words and displaying them in a paper or email or whatever as your own, not giving other people credit. Now, the thing that people sometimes don't understand is that it can be deliberate or it can be unintentional. Both of those constitute plagiarism. So again, it's easy to do nowadays with the internet. It's easy to take some words on a website someplace, copy and paste them down into your paper. You can basically do that, but you have to put, if it's word for word or basically word for word, you have to put quotation marks around it, and you have to cite the source. You have to give credit to the author. You have to give credit to the original website. And again, the easiest way not to plagiarize somebody's work is to make sure, if you are copying a phrase, a sentence, a paragraph, whatever, put quotation marks around it and cite it. The other thing is that paraphrasing. I mean, you can take 50 words and you can say, well, I'll change 5 words here and there, or I'll change 10 words out of the 50. That is not your own writing. I mean, you can change a word here and change a word there. That is still plagiarism. Basically what you need to do when you write is you need to write down your own thoughts, your own way of expressing a concept. Okay? That doesn't mean that you're going to be breaking new ground. I mean, if you're writing a paper on the history of the Civil War, well, you know what? You're going to read books, and you're going to read a textbook, you're going to read articles that are already talking about certain battles, or the Civil War in general, or some topic about it, and you're basically going to be writing a paper that shows that you did this research. But when when you're writing about a concept, you got to use your own words. And if, to reinforce your point, you want to use other people's words, a direct quote, several sentences, just make sure that you put quotation marks around it and you cite it. That's the important thing. Another thing we'll talk about is civility. I mean, when you're in the classroom, when you're in college, you're in a community, you need to act in a certain way because that's what the community expects. If somebody's in class trying to learn and you're causing a disruption, which means that they cannot learn to the fullest extent, that's uncivilized behavior. If somebody else is doing that, you need to speak up and say, hey, knock it off. Hopefully the teacher and whatnot will maintain order in the classroom, but you have to be willing to step up too. Cell phones, we've already talked about this. I mean, texting in class, having cell phones go off in class, all that does is steal time away from others in the class trying to pursue their learning. And again, that's not right. Again, if you're texting in class, if you're reading a website on your smartphone, again, it's really just it's causing a disruption. It's not the behavior we want to see. So anyway, don't text, don't surf the web, don't just put your phone away, keep it off, keep it on vibrate, look at it after class. Remember here, the last slide, success isn't a short range goal, but it's long term. You've got to set your goals, you got to know how you're going to go after them, and ultimately you have to have that discipline and the determination to stick through the tough times that probably will undoubtedly crop up. Now, for your homework, okay, the one thing that we need to do next week is we have to hand in our goal setting worksheet. You will find this worksheet up in the assignments tab in the assignments folder. Go down to letter G, it'll be called goal setting worksheet or something like that. You can print it out. It's just basically a series of, I think, 6 questions, and I want you to set a goal and then to talk about the action steps and just basically answer the questions. I tell you this much, try to set a goal and to think about how you're going to accomplish this. This can be anything. This does not have to be a school-related goal. This can be anything in your life. But think about these 6 or so questions that I ask, and we'll hand that in next week. So that's the number one thing that we have due, and then that's that. Again, since I'm not here this week, the Understanding College worksheet that was originally due this week will also be due next week. So next week, because I'm not here this week, you will hand in the Understanding College worksheet and also the goal setting worksheet. So those 2 things are due next week. So thanks. I appreciate it. Hope also read chapter 2. That's something else that you should be doing.